There is a voice within you, quiet but unyielding, that whispers of greatness. It tells you that you are not meant to live chained by circumstance, not meant to bow to fear, not meant to scatter your energy chasing shadows of approval. That voice is the call of your higher self, the part of you that knows the truth, that the battle for your destiny will not be won in the outer world, but in the inner. For the average man lives as though the outer world were sovereign. He trembles before opinion, bends under criticism, rejoices at praise, despairs at failure, and spends his years as a puppet to forces he does not control. He rises when fortune smiles and collapses when it frowns. He believes success belongs to those born under a lucky star, never realizing that true success belongs only to those who govern themselves. Understand this. The throne of destiny is not seated in circumstance, it is seated in the mind. The man who masters his mind commands his future. The man who fails to master it is condemned to wander, no matter his wealth, no matter his education, no matter his opportunities. All outer achievement is the shadow of inner mastery. And yet, the greatest weakness of mankind is emotional reactivity. The multitude live as slaves to feeling. They are ruled by anger that blinds them, fear that paralyzes them, desire that consumes them, sorrow that weakens them, excitement that distracts them. They call themselves free, yet they are bound tighter than prisoners in chains. For what is freedom if a word can enrage you, a setback can discourage you, or a temptation can enslave you? Let me state the law in words no man can refute. If you allow emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. Therefore, the first step toward unstoppable success is detachment, the mastery of emotional control. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you are not ruled by what you feel. It does not mean you are cold. It means you are clear. It does not mean you are indifferent. It means you are sovereign. To detach is to rise above the storm, to look upon your emotions not as commands but as signals. You observe, you measure, you decide, you do not react, you respond. You do not surrender, you govern. Consider the statesman who is insulted before the crowd. The reactive man shouts, and in shouting lowers himself to the level of his enemy. But the detached man smiles, remains calm, and in calmness gains the respect of all. His silence is stronger than their noise. His restraint is more powerful than their fury. That is detachment, the ability to remain master when others would make you servant. The second step is mental discipline. Discipline is the iron that shapes desire into destiny. Without it, dreams dissolve into fantasies, and intentions vanish into excuses. The undisciplined man is at the mercy of his moods. When he feels strong, he works. When he feels weak, he surrenders. But the disciplined man works regardless of how he feels, for he is driven not by emotion but by decision. His life is not a series of accidents but of deliberate choices, each one guided by principle. The third step is definiteness of purpose. For discipline without purpose is slavery, but discipline with purpose is greatness. Definiteness of purpose means you know what you want, you know why you want it, and you will not rest until it is achieved. It is the compass that prevents discipline from becoming mere labor. It is the fire that directs the will, the star that guides the ship, the law that orders the nation of the mind. The fourth step is autosuggestion, the conscious programming of your subconscious mind. For the subconscious is the silent architect of your destiny. It accepts every command, whether spoken in faith or in fear. Tell it, I cannot, and it will ensure you cannot. Tell it, I am strong, and it will make you strong. The subconscious cannot argue, cannot resist, cannot disobey. It serves faithfully, but blindly. If you do not command it, it will be commanded by the chaos of your emotions and the noise of the world. The fifth step is accurate thinking, the refusal to be deceived by illusion, rumor, or desire. Accurate thinking means you see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be, not as others tell you it is. It means separating fact from opinion, truth from falsehood, signal from noise, and accurate thinking is impossible without detachment, for emotion distorts judgment. To think accurately, you must step outside of yourself, weigh evidence with clarity, and let reason rule where passion would blind. All these principles unite under one law. Mastery of the inner world produces mastery of the outer. The man who governs himself cannot be governed by circumstance. The man who commands his mind commands his future. Reflect on this. Every act of failure is first an act of inner defeat. No man is ruined by events. He is ruined by his response to events. No man is conquered by circumstance. He is conquered by the thoughts he permits. The battle is always within. Therefore, if you would achieve greatness, keep your focus on you, not on the opinion of others, not on the noise of the world, not on the distractions of emotion. Focus on mastering yourself until you win, for the man who conquers himself has nothing left to fear. The mind has a law, subtle yet unbreakable, the law of mental neutrality. It declares that your thoughts, when calm and balanced, reflect reality with precision, but when disturbed by emotion, they distort, and in distortion you lose your way. Picture a pool of still water. When undisturbed, it mirrors the sky with perfect clarity. Cast a stone into it, and the reflection shatters. So it is with the mind. When calm, it reflects truth. When agitated, it deceives you. Neutrality is not indifference. It is not the death of passion or the denial of desire. Neutrality is balance. It is the position from which you see clearly, the center from which you govern accurately. The neutral mind does not deny anger, fear, or desire. It observes them, weighs them, and decides what shall be done. In neutrality lies mastery. Think of the financier watching the markets rise and fall. The emotional man buys when greed burns in his chest and sells when fear grips his heart. He loses because he is ruled by impulse. But the neutral man observes calmly, makes decisions based on principle, and prospers while others panic. Neutrality is advantage. Neutrality is power. This leads us to the power of calmness. Calmness is not weakness, it is control. It is not passivity, it is focus. Calmness is the ability to remain unmoved while others tremble, to remain clear when others are clouded, to remain decisive when others are paralyzed. Calmness is strength in silence, fire harnessed, energy directed. Observe the surgeon whose hand must not tremble though a life depends upon it. He does not permit fear or haste to shake him. His calmness saves. Observe the general on the battlefield, whose soldiers look to him while chaos rages. If he panics, they collapse. If he remains calm, they stand. Calmness multiplies strength because it steadies not only yourself, but all who depend on you. Let me tell you plainly, the man who cultivates calmness carries an aura of power. His presence settles the nervous, strengthens the weak, and silences the reckless. Others trust him because he trusts himself. Others follow him because he remains unmoved when they are moved. Calmness is the crown of leadership. But how is calmness achieved? Through the principle of thought first. Life deceives the masses into believing that events dictate thoughts, but the wise know thoughts precede events. Cause comes before effect. The invisible comes before the visible. A building is first a thought in the architect's mind. A victory is first a thought in the general's plan. A destiny is first a thought in the disciplined mind of the individual. If thought is first, then mastery of thought is mastery of life. But when emotion governs thought, life is ruled by chaos. Anger clouds judgment. Fear blinds possibility. Desire hides consequence. Emotion corrupts the blueprint, and the building crumbles. Therefore, you must place thought before emotion. To detach is to pause before action, to observe before deciding, to govern before acting. This is not delay, it is mastery. The reactive man strikes in anger and regrets it. The disciplined man pauses, thinks, responds, and is victorious. The reactive man runs from fear and misses his opportunity. The disciplined man observes fear, calculates, and acts with courage. Thought first, always thought first. Let me declare it as law. He who reacts is a slave. He who responds is a master. Reaction is bondage. Response is freedom. Reaction is weakness. Response is strength. Reaction is accident. Response is destiny. Every time you react blindly, you lose power. Every time you respond deliberately, you gain it. Your life is nothing more than the sum of reactions or responses. And the difference between mediocrity and mastery, between despair and destiny, is this. The average man reacts, the great man responds. So keep your focus on you. Train your mind to neutrality. Cultivate calmness. Place thought before impulse. For once you control this sequence, you control all. You cannot always command the outer world, but you can always command your thought. And he who commands his thought commands his future. Desire is the spark of achievement, but desire alone accomplishes nothing. The world is filled with men who burn with longing yet die in mediocrity because they never learn to discipline themselves. Desire without discipline is like fire in dry grass. It blazes with fury, then dies, leaving only ashes. But desire harnessed by discipline is like fire in the furnace. It powers the engine, it forges steel, it builds cities. Discipline is the bridge between thought and reality. It is the force that carries vision across the abyss of delay, difficulty, and distraction until it becomes fact. Without discipline, purpose remains a wish. Without discipline, even talent remains wasted. Without discipline, wealth slips through the fingers of the foolish. Understand this. Every great achievement is built not on moments of inspiration, but on years of discipline. The author who writes a book does not wait for inspiration each day he writes, regardless of mood. The athlete who rises to glory does not train only when motivated. He trains when tired, when hurt, when unrecognized. The leader who shapes nations does not act only when conditions are favorable. He acts in drought, in famine, in resistance. Discipline is the refusal to let moods dictate destiny. The undisciplined man is always a victim of his feelings. When he feels strong, he advances. When he feels weak, he retreats. When he feels joy, he works. When he feels sorrow, he abandons. He is a slave to the weather of the soul. But the disciplined man advances, whether he feels joy or sorrow, whether he feels fire or fatigue. His law is principle, not passion. His anchor is decision, not mood. This is why I declare discipline is freedom. The man who obeys his moods is chained. The man who obeys his decisions is free. Discipline liberates you from weakness, from distraction, from surrender. It is the key that unlocks the prison of impulse and opens the gates to mastery. Yet discipline alone is not enough. For man is not only body, he is mind. He is not only conscious, but subconscious. And the subconscious is a silent power that never sleeps, never argues, never disobeys. It is the soil of destiny, and what you plant there grows. This is why the principle of autosuggestion is supreme. Autosuggestion is the act of deliberately impressing thoughts upon the subconscious until they harden into belief, and belief hardens into reality. Every word you repeat, every image you hold, every thought you allow is a command. The subconscious does not ask whether it is wise or foolish, true or false, helpful or destructive. It simply obeys. The man who continually says to himself, I cannot, will not. The man who says, I am unlucky, will find misfortune at every turn. The man who says, I always fail, will ensure failure. Not because fate is cruel, but because the subconscious obeys the suggestion and directs his actions accordingly. His beliefs shape his behavior shapes his outcomes, and his outcomes confirm his beliefs. Thus, the cycle of defeat continues. But the man of mastery uses autosuggestion as his ally. He plants in his subconscious seeds of discipline, courage, calmness, and victory. He says, I am the master of myself. I am calm in all storms. I am disciplined in all seasons. I am focused until I win. He does not wait until he feels these truths. He repeats them until they become truth. And as he repeats, his subconscious shapes his actions to match his words. His thoughts form belief, his belief forms habit, his habit forms destiny. Understand the magnitude of this principle. You are always training your subconscious, whether by intention or by neglect. Every word you mutter in frustration, every fear you dwell upon in silence, every self-pitying thought you indulge, these are commands. If you do not direct your subconscious, the world will direct it for you. If you do not plant seeds of power, weeds of weakness will grow. Therefore, guard your inner speech as a king guards his throne. Command your subconscious as a general commands his army. Feed it with thoughts of strength, of clarity, of calmness, of discipline, and it will serve you with loyalty beyond imagination. Now consider the union of discipline and autosuggestion. Discipline commands the body, Autosuggestion commands the mind. Discipline ensures that you act whether you feel like it or not. Autosuggestion ensures that you feel aligned with your purpose. One governs the outer world, the other governs the inner. Together they forge a man who is unstoppable. Reflect on this truth. Every act of discipline is itself an act of autosuggestion. When you rise early despite fatigue, you are telling your subconscious, I am sovereign over my body. When you control your tongue instead of lashing out in anger, you are telling your subconscious, I am master over emotion. When you focus on work instead of surrendering to distraction, you are telling your subconscious, I am faithful to my purpose. These repeated commands reshape identity until mastery becomes natural. This is the essence of building inner strength. Strength is not given by fortune, nor discovered in crisis. Strength is built in the small, unseen acts of daily mastery. Each choice of discipline, each word of positive suggestion, each moment of detachment is a brick. Day by day, brick by brick, the fortress of inner strength rises. And when the storm comes, as storms always come, the fortress stands unshaken. Mark it well. Men fall not because storms are strong, but because their walls are weak. The man without discipline collapses in the first wind. The man without autosuggestion believes the first lie of fear. But the man who has built his fortress within stands unmoved. His walls are discipline. His gates are guarded by autosuggestion. His throne is detachment. He is sovereign. So keep your focus on you. Do not waste your energy attempting to control the outer world before you have mastered the inner. The outer is only a reflection. Build discipline. Command your subconscious. Strengthen yourself until nothing within can betray you, and nothing without can conquer you. For the man who wins within always wins without. The mind is the workshop of destiny, but a workshop without order produces chaos. Many men believe themselves to be thinkers, yet their thinking is nothing but opinion, hearsay, and wishful fantasy. They do not think, they imagine, they do not weigh, they assume, they do not test, they believe blindly, and so they suffer, not from lack of effort, but from lack of accuracy. Accurate thinking is the principle that separates the wise from the foolish, the builder from the dreamer, the master from the slave. To think accurately is to separate fact from rumor, evidence from assumption, truth from falsehood. It is to train the mind to see clearly when others are blinded by emotion or noise. The undisciplined mind admits every thought like an open gate admitting strangers. Lies walk in dressed as truth, and he bows to them. Doubts slip in disguised as caution, and he obeys them. Fantasies pose as realities, and he builds his life on sand. But the accurate thinker guards the gate of his mind. He examines every thought. Are you proven? Do you serve my purpose? Or are you an intruder sent to mislead? Only when satisfied does he admit it. This is mental sovereignty. Accurate thinking is impossible without detachment. For what corrupts judgment more than emotion? Anger blinds the eye, fear fogs the vision, desire bends the scale. The man enslaved by feeling cannot think accurately because he does not see truth. He sees only what emotion paints before him. But the detached man sees as it is. He does not deny anger, but he will not let anger govern. He does not deny fear, but he will not let fear decide. He does not deny desire, but he weighs it against principle. His detachment is the lens that keeps his vision clear. Mark this. Most failures are failures of inaccurate thinking. The general who trusts rumor loses his army. The merchant who acts on impulse loses his fortune. The man who believes his fears loses his opportunity. They are punished not by chance, but by their own lack of clarity. Reality does not forgive illusion. Thus, I tell you, discipline your mind to think accurately. Demand evidence, demand clarity, demand truth. Refuse to be swayed by gossip, by appearance, by desire. Truth is often uncomfortable, but it is always useful. Illusion may soothe, but it always destroys. Now, let us turn to the difference between response and reaction. Reaction is the chain of the slave. Response is the crown of the master. Reaction is blind impulse. Response is conscious choice. Reaction is surrender. Response is sovereignty. Every moment of life presents you with two doors, the door of reaction and the door of response. Enter the first, and you give your power to the world. Enter the second, and you claim your power for yourself. the insult hurled at you, will you react with rage and descend to your enemy's level, or will you respond with calmness and rise above him? The fear that seizes you, will you react by fleeing, or will you respond by acting with courage despite it? The temptation that entices you, will you react by indulging, or will you respond by remembering your purpose? Your destiny is the accumulation of your choices between reaction and response. The masses live in reaction. They are controlled by provocation, by noise, by moods, by others. The few live in response. They are controlled by principle, by purpose, by discipline. The first are slaves. The second are masters. And this mastery leads us to the supreme law, the art of inner government. Every man is a kingdom within himself. His thoughts are citizens, his emotions are factions, his desires are parties, his will is the sovereign. If the sovereign is weak, the kingdom falls into civil war, anger battling fear, desire battling duty, hope battling despair. But if the sovereign is strong, the kingdom is united, orderly, productive. You must become the statesman of your soul, establish laws within, laws of discipline, laws of purpose, laws of accurate thinking. Enforce them with firmness, for a law unenforced is no law. Govern your emotions as a ruler governs restless subjects, not by indulging their every cry, but by directing them to serve the whole. Govern your thoughts as a commander governs his army, not by letting them wander, but by organizing them into ranks toward victory. Govern your desires as a wise king governs resources, not by squandering them, but by channeling them into building the future. Many fear self-government, imagining it to be slavery, but the opposite is true. He who indulges every impulse is the slave. He who governs himself is free. Freedom is not the absence of restraint, but the mastery of restraint. Freedom is not the permission to do as you please, but the power to do as you decide. Therefore, keep your focus on you. Govern yourself with wisdom. Rule your inner kingdom with justice and discipline. Refuse to let reaction usurp your throne. Refuse to let illusion infiltrate your gates. Refuse to let emotion sit upon the crown that belongs to reason. Be sovereign within, and the outer world cannot enslave you. The man who governs himself becomes unshakable. He cannot be bribed by praise nor broken by criticism. He cannot be swayed by fear nor seduced by desire. He cannot be conquered from without, for he is conquered within. And when others see him, they recognize the rarest thing on earth, a man who is master of himself. There is a law of achievement that no man can evade, the law of persistence. Every worthy goal requires time, and time always demands endurance. The path to mastery is never straight, never smooth, never short. It twists, it rises, it descends into valleys, it tests the traveler with storms and shadows. Many begin the journey with enthusiasm, but few persist. They are carried forward by excitement, but when excitement fades, they stop. They begin with passion, but when passion wanes, they quit. Their destiny dies, not because the goal was impossible, but because they surrendered too soon. Persistence is the refusal to stop. It is the iron decision to advance one more step, to fight one more round, to rise one more time. It is the habit of never yielding to discouragement, of never allowing delay to mean defeat. And persistence is not an accident. It is born of detachment. Why detachment? Because the man ruled by emotion cannot persist. His mood drives him forward today and drags him backward tomorrow. His hope carries him high in the morning, and despair throws him low by night. He is a puppet of feeling, and his strings are easily cut. But the detached man does not measure progress by mood. He does not surrender when emotions whisper lies of futility. He advances because his purpose demands it. He persists because his will commands it. He is detached from the rise and fall of feeling, and therefore he is unstoppable. Thomas Edison made thousands of attempts before the electric light answered his command. Did he surrender after 10 failures? After 100? After 1,000? No. Why? Because he was detached from the sting of failure. He measured not by emotion, but by progress. Each attempt was not defeat, but data. Each setback was not humiliation, but instruction. And because he persisted, light entered the world. Persistence is the weapon of all men who refuse to be broken by time. But persistence without initiative is wasted effort. For many persist in idleness, in fear, in waiting for others to act. Persistence without initiative is like a soldier standing in place with iron endurance but never advancing. Initiative is the spark that begins. Persistence is the fire that continues. Together, they create conquest. The masses wait. They wait for permission, for certainty, for perfect conditions. They wait until they feel ready, until the path is cleared, until opportunity knocks politely at their door. They wait, and life passes. The man of initiative does not wait. He begins. He acts without guarantee, without applause, without assurance. He knows that waiting for certainty is waiting for death, for certainty never comes. He creates his own conditions by moving. Personal initiative is the mark of the master. It is the refusal to be paralyzed by hesitation, the rejection of dependency, the boldness to say, if no one will act, I will. If no one will lead, I will. If no one will begin, I will. Initiative is the seed of independence, the proof of sovereignty, the voice of destiny saying, rise. But here again, emotion is the enemy. The man enslaved by fear will never take initiative. The man intoxicated by the need for approval will never act before the crowd. The man addicted to comfort will never leave the shore. Initiative requires detachment. Detachment from fear, from approval, from comfort. The detached man acts because it is necessary, not because it is safe, not because it is popular, not because it is easy. He acts because he has decided to act. Now observe how detachment also creates unstoppable focus. For what destroys focus more than the noise of emotion? The distracted man begins one task, then abandons it for another. He is pulled by excitement here, dragged by fear there, diverted by pleasure elsewhere. His energy scatters, his purpose dissolves, his life fragments into 1,000 incomplete beginnings. But the detached man is immune to distraction. He does not chase every opportunity, nor does he flee every obstacle. He fixes his eye on his purpose, and all else becomes irrelevant. He is not seduced by glitter, nor dismayed by shadows. He does not divide himself among 10 pursuits. He gives himself wholly to one. His focus is a blade, sharp and unyielding, cutting through confusion until only victory remains. Alexander the Great conquered nations because his focus was unbroken. He did not permit himself to be distracted by comfort, nor delayed by doubt, nor divided by hesitation. His eye was fixed on conquest, and nothing could turn it. This is the power of detachment, the ability to look upon distraction without moving, to look upon temptation without yielding, to look upon difficulty without retreating. Mark the pattern. Persistence is strength over time. Initiative is strength at the beginning. Focus is strength in the middle. All three are children of detachment. Without detachment, persistence breaks, initiative falters, focus scatters. With detachment, persistence becomes relentless, initiative becomes fearless, focus becomes indestructible. Therefore, keep your focus on you. Detach from the shifting winds of mood. Detach from the endless demands of others. Detach from fear, from comfort, from approval. Anchor yourself in purpose. Train your mind in discipline. Plant the seed of initiative. Water it with persistence. Guard it with focus. And you will discover that there is no force in the world strong enough to stop the man who refuses to stop himself. For life always yields to the one who persists longer, acts sooner, and focuses deeper. And these three powers belong only to the man who is master of his inner world. Power is not always revealed in action. Often, it is revealed in silence. For silence is not emptiness, it is containment. It is the storing of energy, the disciplining of speech, the refusal to waste strength in useless display. The average man cannot endure silence, for his insecurity cries out to be noticed. He explains, defends, justifies, argues, seeking to prove his worth with words, but the master is silent. He needs no defense, for his actions are his argument. He seeks no validation, for his confidence is his crown. He wastes nothing, for he knows power preserved is power multiplied. The man of silence does not reveal his strategy to the crowd, nor does he squander wisdom upon the unready. He speaks only when speaking is necessary, and when he speaks, his words fall with weight. His silence creates mystery. His restraint creates respect. and his calm presence commands attention before a syllable is uttered. The multitude shout to be heard, the master whispers, and the world leans in. This brings us to the energy of restraint. Many equate strength with constant expression, the loud voice, the swift retaliation, the immediate indulgence of desire, but true strength is proven not in indulgence, but in restraint. A sword drawn at every provocation soon dulls. A man who answers every insult soon loses dignity. A leader who reacts to every pressure soon destroys himself. Restraint is not weakness, it is precision. Restraint is the pause that magnifies power. It is the space between impulse and action where sovereignty resides. The reactive man spends his energy recklessly, striking at shadows, shouting at noise, chasing every temptation. His strength leaks like water from a broken vessel. But the restrained man gathers his energy, stores it, directs it. His power grows as others dissipate theirs. When he finally acts, his action is decisive, his strike unstoppable. Think of the lion resting in the grass. He does not chase every movement, though prey surrounds him. He waits still and composed, conserving his strength, and when he moves with precision. His restraint does not diminish his power, it multiplies it. So it is with the disciplined man. His restraint unsettles his enemies, for they cannot predict him. His restraint strengthens his allies, for they trust his composure. His restraint confirms his mastery, for he proves that nothing outside can command him. And here lies a great secret. Detachment creates influence. For who can be influenced less than the man detached from approval, fear, or desire? The reactive man is easily controlled. Praise lifts him, criticism crushes him, temptation ensnares him. He is a puppet, and the strings are held by anyone clever enough to provoke him. But the detached man cannot be moved. Praise does not intoxicate him, criticism does not wound him, temptation does not sway him. He listens, he observes, but he remains sovereign. And because he cannot be controlled, he gains control. Detachment is magnetism. Men are drawn to those who need nothing from them. They trust the one who does not flatter, admire the one who does not beg, follow the one who does not yield. The detached man influences not by demanding, but by being. His calmness reassures. His silence unsettles. His restraint commands. He radiates strength, and others orbit that strength as planets orbit the Sunday. It is said of Napoleon Bonaparte that when he entered a room, men felt his presence before he spoke. This was not accident, it was mastery. His detachment from the opinions of others made his own opinion priceless. His refusal to be provoked made him unassailable. His calm restraint created an aura that swayed men more than speeches could. Influence is born not of noise, but of sovereignty, and this sovereignty is available to you. Detach from the need to explain yourself, and your silence will speak for you. Detach from the need to indulge impulse, and your restraint will strengthen you. Detach from the need for approval, and your influence will grow beyond measure. The world bows to the man who is not bowed by it. So keep your focus on you. Guard your tongue. Contain your strength. Govern your impulses. Detach from the noise of others, and let silence, restraint, and presence do your speaking. For silence is mastery, restraint is power, and detachment is influence. He who possesses these three carries a force no army can oppose, the force of complete self-command. The world praises outer wealth, gold, land, possessions, influence, yet none of these are secure. A fortune may vanish in a single night, a position of power may crumble with a single vote, a reputation may be destroyed with a single rumor. Outer wealth is fragile, and he who builds his life upon it builds upon sand. But there is another wealth, unseen yet indestructible, inner wealth. And he who possesses this is rich beyond the reach of thieves, beyond the erosion of time, beyond the judgment of men. Inner wealth is the calmness that cannot be shaken, the discipline that cannot be broken, the clarity that cannot be deceived, the strength that cannot be defeated. It is the wealth of self-mastery. The man who possesses this wealth walks through loss without despair, through criticism without collapse, through temptation without surrender. For his treasure is not in the world, but in himself. Inner wealth is born of detachment. For what enslaves men more than attachment to what they cannot keep? They cling to possessions, and in clinging they are forever anxious, fearing loss. They cling to approval, and in clinging they are forever enslaved, begging recognition. They cling to outcomes, and in clinging they are forever tormented by the uncertainty of tomorrow. Attachment is poverty, no matter how rich a man appears. But detachment is abundance. The detached man owns himself, and therefore he owns all he needs. He uses wealth but does not worship it. He receives approval but does not require it. He pursues outcomes but is not destroyed if they delay. He is rich because he cannot be impoverished. He is free because he cannot be bound. He is sovereign because nothing rules him but his own will. And this leads us to the highest prize of mastery, freedom. The world defines freedom as the removal of chains, the absence of restraint, the liberty to indulge every impulse. But that is not freedom. That is enslavement disguised as liberty. What is freedom to a man who cannot control his anger? He is a slave to provocation. What is freedom to a man who cannot master his fear? He is a prisoner of shadows. What is freedom to a man who cannot govern his desire? He is chained by appetite. Such men may roam without physical chains, but within they wear shackles heavier than iron. True freedom is self-mastery. True freedom is the power to act as you decide, not as impulse dictates. True freedom is sovereignty of the inner world. He who has conquered himself is free anywhere, in wealth or in poverty, in honor or in obscurity, in power or in exile. No man, no law, no circumstance can enslave the man who is master of himself. This is why I tell you, detach, discipline, and govern yourself, for only then will you taste the liberty that the masses seek but never find. And once you taste this liberty, destiny bends to you, for the outer world is but a shadow of the inner. Every action is born of thought, every result is born of action, every destiny is born of the unseen decisions of the inner man. Change your inner world, and the outer cannot resist. Govern your thoughts, and you govern your fate. Command your emotions, and you command your future. Discipline your mind, and you discipline reality itself. Understand this final law. Your mind is the throne upon which destiny sits. If you leave it unguarded, chaos will rule. If you surrender it to emotion, weakness will rule. If you abandon it to opinion, others will rule. But if you seize it with discipline, with detachment, with definiteness of purpose, you will rule. And so, the call is before you. Keep your focus on you. Do not waste your life chasing the shadows of approval, the illusions of emotion, the distractions of the crowd. Master yourself. Discipline your body. Command your mind. Train your subconscious. Think accurately. Respond, do not react. Persist when others surrender. Initiate when others wait. Focus when others scatter. Be silent when others boast. Restrain when others indulge. Detach when others cling. Do this and you will awaken to the wealth that cannot be lost, the freedom that cannot be taken, the destiny that cannot be denied. For life bows, not to the emotional, but to the disciplined. Not to the reactive, but to the sovereign. Not to the multitude, but to the few who dare to govern themselves. Be one of the few. Take the throne within. Keep your focus on you until you win. The hour has come to decide. You stand at the crossroads between mastery and mediocrity, between sovereignty and slavery, between destiny and drift. One path is wide and filled with the multitude, the path of reaction, of indulgence, of dependence on the fleeting moods of the soul. Those who walk it never arrive. They live as leaves tossed in the wind, carried where the storm dictates, powerless, restless, empty. Their lives end as they began, ungoverned, unfocused, unseen. The other path is narrow, but it leads upward. Few dare to walk it, for it demands discipline, detachment, and mastery of the self. Yet those who walk it rise above the multitude. They live as rulers of their minds, as commanders of their actions, as architects of their destinies. They bend circumstance to their will because they have first bent themselves. They become the few who lead, the few who inspire, the few who win. Ask yourself now, will you remain chained to emotion, or will you rise as sovereign of your soul? Will you surrender your power to the provocations of others, or will you keep your focus on you until nothing can move you? Will you wander through life reacting, or will you carve your destiny responding with mastery? The decision cannot be delayed, for every day of hesitation is a day of loss. Every moment of indulgence is a moment stolen from greatness. Every surrender to impulse is a crown cast into the dust. You have within you the power to rise, but you must claim it. You must govern your thought. You must command your feeling. You must discipline your action. You must detach from the illusions of the crowd and anchor yourself in purpose unshakable. Hear me clearly. The world owes you nothing. It will not hand you victory. It will not deliver peace to your doorstep. It will not crown you with greatness. But if you master yourself, the world cannot deny you. For the world has always bowed to those who first bowed their passions to discipline, their fears to courage, their doubts to faith, their emotions to reason. So I call you to rise. Rise in discipline. Rise in detachment. Rise in mastery of your mind. Keep your focus on you, not on the noise, not on the opinions, not on the fleeting tides of feeling. Keep your focus on you until the day comes when nothing within can betray you and nothing without can conquer you. And when that day comes, you will know the truth written into the very laws of life, that success is not accident, that greatness is not gift, that destiny is not chance. Success is self-mastery. Greatness is self-command. Destiny is the reflection of the inner sovereign. Rule yourself, and you will rule your world. Keep your focus on you until you win.